Hi, everybody. We're here today to talk about how much we love the smart brick.
We love them so much.
It is so great.
The greatest thing to ever come to Lego.
Lovely.
So much if it's overpriced or
so good.
It's so cheep. No, it's not cheap. It's great sets. Great sets. They're not cheap. They're cost effective.
Did we
do good?
Is this right? Is this right?
April Fools, just kidding. We're actually not talking nice about Smart Play today.
We would ever.
Maybe we will. This is our April Fool's joke for this year. Was that hilarious bit you guys just saw?
Me complimentary of Smart Brick? The hell you think?
What have we been talking about for over months now? Yeah.
So the purpose of this video today is we are doing a 30 days in on Smart Play. The brick sets, the Smart Play sets, whatever you want to call them, have officially been on sale for 30 days through Lego Shop at Home, through wherever, Target, Amazon, whatever you want to do, in the select regions that Lego put them on sale. So what we're going to do is we're not going to take a look at the sets themselves and be like, this is what sucks about them. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how they've been perceived, how they've been selling, how hard Lego is pushing, and kind of give our thoughts on how strong a launch did these get.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean? And we're gonna take a look at. We have some statistics and information and whatnot we can look at. Excuse me, we can look at. But I think starting off the bat, everyone's first kind of thoughts on first 30 days of Smart Play. I don't think it was great. It was not.
It's well under Lego's expectations, and I think it's about the expectations that we as the fans expected it to be, if not worse, honestly.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we were all there the day they debuted.
Yep.
At the Lego store,
That was one of the few times we went, and all the people in the line, and I went back an hour after we had left. Not a single set had sold.
Nope.
None.
And there was easily 100 people in line, and we're all like, is anybody here for Smart Bricks? Silence, except for one chuckle.
Yeah, no.
One person was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I looked back, we had been there for maybe the line. It was about a half an hour before the store opened, and I kind of looked back and I went, "Hey, who's here for Smart Play?" And one guy was like, "What'd he say?" And someone goes, "You here for the Smart Brick sets?" And the guy looked up at me and went, "Hell no!"
I mean, I go to Target at least twice a week. I've never seen any of the stock move. I went to the Lego store this past weekend, and a Millennium Falcon had been bought.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That was the only evidence I had seen. There was a spot on the shelf that they were filling that was a Millennium Falcon. That was it. That was the only thing I had seen.
And we have asked our Lego store staff, hey, how many of these have you guys sold?
Not many.
Not many, if any.
And at release day for them, the employees of the Lego store, they were going hard, man.
Yeah.
Because there was a card that they were giving out if you played with them, and they were trying to just get everybody to at least touch them and play with them and see what it was all about. So they did their part to a T. They cannot say they did not try and do great.
They knew what they were doing, and they did a good job.
They decorated the floor. They were playing with them. They were showing them off. They were doing their job perfectly, as best as they could. There's a couple screeches from the microphones and something. There was I don't know what was caused interference between multiple Smart Bricks in the same area, but they were decorating the floor. They had all these posters up. They were doing everything that they were supposed to and could do to try and promote this, and it didn't work at all.
No.
I've been in there way too much lately just because I've been needing a bunch of parts from our pick-a-brick walls. So I've been in there every weekend since, just picking up boxes. That table is always manned.
Yeah.
There's always someone trying to get people to come to that table. Oh, that table is manned every second of the day.
Oh,
to the point where they had an extra employee there?
Yeah, they have an extra employee just literally there, just
God.
They're trying to get people to play with the stuff. just standing in the back of the pick and just watching it. The kids will walk up, and I'd say it's a good 80-20. The kid gets tired of it and walks away after 5 minutes.
Mhm.
I mean, I saw on Reddit a picture. They have stations now at Walmarts.
No.
They
I
have
have not seen that.
Yeah, I will, if I can find the picture, I will share it. But they have test stations at Walmarts now where you can play with Smart Play.
Oh my
Listen,
god.
you have to push a button at most Walmarts for people to come and unlock a door to get you
Yeah.
a like minifig. So what kind of manpower are they paying for
Wait,
to have somebody just
Now,
stand
I
there?
assume it's not a Walmart
I was gonna
employee.
say,
It's
is it
probably
a
a
Lego
distributor
employee?
that's coming in that's being told they have to do this.
Okay. Yeah.
I would
that
feel like that would make the most sense, but like at the same time, you got to wonder if they're essentially having an extra employee at Lego stores, if they're having people at Walmart, how much did they like truly invest into this smart? Like we know they were figuring it out
Years.
for over 10 years,
Long time.
but I don't know how much money they've invested into it, but to the point where they're doing everything they can to try and get it to sell, and it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I engaged in several lightsaber duels
Mhm.
with the Emperor's thing one time,
Mhm.
just seeing how it did. They never made a sound, and I'm like jerking the thing, like trying.
Do you
to
think
get,
they were dead?
No,
Oh, they were fully charged?
I took them up and shook them because that's what you do if it falls asleep. If you don't play
Yeah.
with it for a little while, it falls asleep. You have to pick it up and shake it,
Yeah.
and then the lights will
That's what
start
turns it on.
blinking, and that's your. I couldn't. If I'll say this, it was a crowded store. It was a busy afternoon. If I couldn't hear it, and I couldn't see. All I could see was the blinking. Like if I held it up to my ear and I hit the little trigger thing, I could hear it. But in a crowded area or anything like that, you can't hear those. You cannot hear those bricks.
And go ahead, Gina. Go ahead.
They seemed pretty loud at the Lego store that day, even with
Yeah.
all the people. So I wonder when the battery starts to die, if it doesn't just die and everything just
Oh, it
gets
gets
like
quieter.
super extra crappy
Mhm.
and then
Well,
it dies.
Cam, the reason they kept having feedback was because they had the employees were mic'd up,
Yes.
so you could hear the sounds better because they knew the store was going to be busy. And the problem was they got so close to each other that they started like their microphones had feedback, and everybody was like, what the heck?
I gotta wonder with the smart bricks, are they louder than like the sound bricks, like with your
They're very loud.
Oh no, are they? But how's their volume compared to like I'm freaking the Transformers name that they have
Soundwave?
to talk. Soundwave.
Soundwave?
How are they
Louder.
compared to Soundwave?
Louder than Soundwave.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Hmm.
I think for me the big thing so far with this has been just how I'm not gonna lie to anybody here. I've never seen Lego push this hard for something ever.
No.
They need this to succeed.
See, like I've seen them do store promotions before, like in Toys R Us, at Walmart, Target. Like they'll send like big, like cardboard cutouts and like shelving, like to do promotions for whatever they're selling that's new, but not to the point where they need an employee with it. Where it seems like with Smart Play, they're pushing further than they ever have before because they know they need to. Because the initial like the day one purchases, I'm sure is a great indicator for them how they measure everything. Then they go a week out, 2 weeks out, and the fact that it doesn't seem like there's been much sales, I'm sure that they're kind of panicking a little bit. Like, what are we going to do if this doesn't work? We know that it's coming to Pokemon.
It's coming to Pokemon, and rumor has it's coming to City.
Well, it's already in City because it was beta tested in City in Europe.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to wonder, like, if Star Wars, arguably one of their best-selling themes, if Star Wars can't push these along, how is City going to? And then it could kill Pokemon before it even has a chance to be a strong theme. I mean, I know Pokemon's popular, but like, we know there's scalpers, but at the same time, it makes me wonder how well it will perform, even if it is Pokemon.
You really have to wonder if there's a moment of panic button or something. I mean, we can say one thing, and it can be. This is all based on our perceptions and everything we've absorbed. I mean, we're going to talk about some of the reviews in a minute and how certain independent reviewers absolutely destroyed this thing.
Yeah,
which didn't help. But like just looking at even the sales figures that we can follow on a few places that let us publicly track sales, it's not going well.
Mm-mm.
It's
And
going okay.
yeah, I wouldn't even say it's going okay. I mean, if you look it up on Amazon and you see how many pieces have sold in the last month, and then you look at other sets that are Lego that have sold in the last month, you're talking 10% of what some of these other sets are bringing in a month.
Yeah.
Like they're saying, oh, it's 20,000 sold this month or 10,000 sold this month. And you get to the smart stuff and it's, 2,000 sold the last month. That's not a lot.
400 to 800. I think for me, the big thing with this when it comes to like things being pushed is the last time I could remember Lego pushing something this hard or close to this hard, because I think there was a spike here with how big they are now and how much extra money they have to throw out at marketing and whatnot, was Bionicle's reboot when they rebooted that in 2015, and they had a huge, like half of the main core of the one stage at Comic-Con was literally just a giant Bionicle booth, and it took up the whole room, and it was incredible because they were pushing it that hard. And then when video launched, that had a huge press release with it. Both of those things failed horrifically, one more so than the other. But when I look at this and I go, like, we've seen pictures, there's subway trains that have ads on the inside. There's billboards all over LA and different huge metropolitan areas with the Smart Play logos. There's like signage and there's statues all over the place. They brought Jackson Dart, the quarterback of the New York Giants, to Las Vegas to have him play the Smart Play simulator game and a giant brick-built, giant, massive, like life-sized model of the Smart Play X-Wing, and they turned the Sphere into a gaming system.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God. First of all, here's
the Sphere. That's mean to do to that.
Here's what's wrong with that. You got the quarterback of the New York Giants to fly out to Las Vegas, Nevada. Why don't you just get one of the guys that plays for the Raiders to do it? Because they're right down the street.
How much money did they blow in Vegas for that debut?
Exactly.
Right.
The tech conference they did, where they had people from all over the place and they were showing everything off. Like, what do those guys care about this?
Well, that and you could sit down and you could play Lego Star Wars on the Sphere outside.
Yeah. Which, first of all, pretty damn cool. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty awesome.
How much did that cost them? So you look at R&D. How much that's how you ultimately look at how you profit in software. You have to look at the R&D. You have to look at the hours spent, the resources spent. It's not just let's sit there and think of something. You've got all the hours spent doing all the R&D, all the hours spent doing the testing, and various iterations of it over the years. Then you've got the test cycles in city, and then you've got the actual production costs.
Right.
They were also on Good Morning America one morning too, talking about it.
So, like, with me, I have a different perspective outside of our lecture, because I was, based on our one of our episodes, I was stuck in Disney. So I went to the Lego store in Disney. So, JJ, I'm going to share my screen first.
Please do.
Not sure
if I'm doing pictures?
It right. I took some pictures.
We have photographic evidence.
Photo evidence. Dun dun.
Photographic fails.
I can't find it. JJ, do you have the slides by chance? For some reason, I can't get it to work.
The slides? I do not have the slides now.
Oh, crap! It's on. Why ain't you working?
Here, while you're figuring that, I can mention that we obviously we were there when they launched. We got to mess around with them a little bit. I got to play with the one. I played with the TIE Advanced. It was fun, but it wasn't fun when I'm aiming it across the room, hitting the button, and the trigger, the enemy thing behind me that I'm not aiming at, is taking damage and blowing up.
Yeah, because again, it's reaching out, and the other thing that really just drove me nuts was, and this has been pointed out time and time again, you buy some of these sets, you have no way of playing with everything in the set because you only get one brick.
Yeah.
So if you buy something that has like 3 smart brick elements, so I get the X-Wing or something, and then I got to put it down. I have to take the smart brick out of this, plug it into the cart, drive the cart around, then take the smart brick out of that, plug it into the radar station, play with that, then take the smart brick out, plug it back into the X-Wing for the X-Wing to take off. It's
and then you're done because it's dead because it's been.
And you're done. It's because it's dead. Because I didn't think
you're done.
I don't even think they last 45 minutes based on just. No. I don't think they last the full 45.
All right, JJ, I think I got it.
All right, here we go.
There we go. So this was in Disney they have bus transportation that takes you anywhere in the park.
Yeah.
So these are on every single bus. So that's huge marketing right there, just because thousands beyond thousands of people are on those buses every single day. And it's not just on one bus, it's on every single one. And they have a fleet of hundreds. And then also at that store was this build. This was in the actual Lego store, a giant smart brick and as well as a smart play figure. So as you can see to the right, I didn't take that good of a picture because I was only taking a picture of the statue. There's sets untouched. I didn't see dust because obviously you're not going to get much dust in that store just because the constant traffic that they have.
Yeah.
But this is an ideal spot for marketing because it's downtown or Disney Springs. This is open to the public. It's not restricted to park tickets. Anyone can go here.
Right.
So this is an ideal spot for them. And as I'm walking from the bus loop down to the Lego store, the number of billboards I saw within the park that I didn't take pictures of promoting the Smart Play, it was insane how much marketing I've seen for I've never seen marketing for Lego while I'm in Disney until I reached the actual Lego store. This is the first time I've seen any sort of marketing within Disney Springs for something for Lego. So that should just show you how much they're pushing it. If the fact it's on their buses, it's all over downtown Disney or Disney Springs. I gotta stop saying downtown.
I've never seen them aggressively market Lego this much.
No, I've not either.
It's insane. And I was looking around all of the sets, trying to see if anything is selling. A couple, and that store has a line around the building. It's a giant building. It's its own singular building. There's a line around it, waiting for it to get in. There was maybe a couple sets sold in the entire time I was there, but that's hundreds of people within an hour.
Yeah.
So the fact that only a couple sets are off the shelf and it's it's a mainstay Lego store. There's so much in there.
Busiest Lego stores in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that not that many were coming off the shelves, I hope Lego's looking at stores like that to see, one of our busiest stores, they're not selling.
I'm scared. I'm scared for City.
We'll talk about City in a minute here, but yeah, go ahead.
I think they should take the lose and just say never mind, because City's just kind of making a good comeback. And what are they? They're just going to tank it now.
Here's the problem with just do the lose and just make it go away. The issue with that is I'm going to use video as the example. I know you love video, but I'm going to use video as the example. Video, nobody was paying attention to it because it was just, in my eyes, it was a wash from the start. There was little to no interest going in. Nobody was paying attention to what happening. And they just quietly released a statement saying they were going to take it off the shelves and look to retool it. And then they were going to maybe bring it back later. And then about a year after that went, actually, we're done. And that was the end of it. But nobody oh my God, they're pulling the plug on video. What a crazy, whatever. No one cares. If they can't pull the plug on this now, this early, if the sales are as abysmal as they appear to be, they can't pull a plug on this right now because they've put millions upon millions of dollars into this, developing it, marketing it. If they pull the plug, let's say 6 months into this, if none of them are selling, and they're just, you can't, because one, Star Wars is attached to that, and Disney does not let Star Wars products fail.
If they can
I would be careful with that.
Well, they're incredibly protective of that brand when it comes to stuff. They're not going to let Lego pull the plug on a thing there that they probably had a hand in helping develop a little bit with their IP attached to it.
They can, they'll drop it like a bad habit.
I mean, look at Acolyte.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That's
they will drop it like a bad.
They dropped
habit
it so
and
fast.
but
pretend it
Acolyte
never
still
existed.
ran its course and
It
just
ran its
wasn't
course.
renewed for season 2.
It
Like,
wasn't
that
renewed
was
for
the end
season
of
2,
it.
but like they let it run. I think this is what will happen to Smart Bricks. Obviously, we know that it's in Star Wars and it's gonna be in City, and the rumors say it's gonna be in Pokemon. We know those 3 themes minimal. I think what will end up happening if the sales continue the way that they are selling, Pokemon's going to be a big determining factor, honestly. City, not so much, only because City performs how it's going to perform regardless, I think, just because there are so many City fans. There are people like Gina right behind you. You have an amazing city. There are so many cities out there that depend on city sets that Smart Play won't affect it that much. It'll be a few sets that aren't sold. But I doubt they're going to put something in City Smart Play sets that deters it that much. With Pokemon, there's ulterior factors like scalpers and the love of Pokemon. But I
Smart
think
Play
what
will
happen,
survive because the Pokemon scalpers will buy up the sets,
I'm not
and
saying
that
we'll
is what
survive.
will boost them.
I hope that's not the case. I think what will happen is
No.
they'll let it run its course, like Acolyte. Let the sets that they have invested in already, like the sets that they have designed, ready to go, they'll let those go, but they won't design any more. That's what they should do. From a business standpoint, they need to release those sets because if they don't release them, that's a guaranteed loss. If they at least put them on the shelves and some get sold, at least they make some. I don't know if they'll break even, but they'll make more money than if they don't do it at all.
I think they put these out so quickly in the year so that they could get a good temperature taker
Yes.
to see if they
Agreed.
can if they would need to make changes for January of 2027.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get into January 2027 production soon because they got to ramp it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the other part about this too is, and this is the thing that bothers me, what does this do to set them back everywhere else? So let's say you had another wave of Smart Play Lego Star Wars. First wave bombs. You make the decision to pull the plug, or Disney does it for you, right?
Yeah.
All right.
What are you going to do to fill that gap?
You know,
What goes out in its
Nothing.
place? Because we know it takes them. They said it takes 2 years. So this release has been worked on for at least the last 2 years. You go ahead and kill the next wave. What's sitting in the background as their emergency backup? Or is there going to be an honest to God lull in Star Wars sets?
Mm-hmm.
Which is its own question. And then again, what does this do to damage not only the bottom line for the year, but also, quite frankly, the reputation of Lego?
I would say 100%. I think their reputation will be fine because I think the outside public is going to forget these exist and no one's going to care. I think what will I think with Star Wars, how it will affect Lego Star Wars. I think when we look at next year's report, like their financial report, I wouldn't be surprised if Star Wars is because like this year Star Wars was what 3 or 4 on the list of like top like best selling themes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Star Wars is either 5 or it's off the list because of these. Again, if they are selling as abysmally as we believe them to be, based on factors we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I want to talk about some of the reviews now, and I think to me the one to me besides the one Scott's thinking of right now, because we're going to talk about that one in a second, was looking at Amazon reviews and looking at Lego Shop at Home reviews from people that bought the sets for the ones that are Smart Play compatible that do not come with the Smart Bricks. A lot of those people reviewing these were, I bought this for a kid, or I bought this for my grandson, or bought this for my grandkid, or whatever. And there was no Smart Brick included. None of the features work. And they were very upset about it.
The marketing
Very upset about it.
on the boxes could have done a lot better, honestly, because like I don't know how, because like the boxes are all very similar. There's not
They should have
ones
just
that
all
have,
had
like,
the
a
bricks.
big
I'm
yellow box.
sorry.
They all should either
Yes.
have they all should either have the bricks, or there should be like a singular box to be like, oh, buy this to go with this set, similar to how they used to sell motors individually.
I wonder if any of them called Lego customer service and said, dude, what the hell? And they just sent them a brick.
I don't know if
I
they would be able
Don't
to.
know if they do that or not. They might have.
Okay, but
Or they
there
may
was
have just reimbursed them with VIP points.
There's
Yeah,
a
but
difference between sending a sticker sheet, a missing sticker sheet, or a missing piece versus the technology that goes in the smart play.
Yeah.
However, there was that one, I don't remember who it was, on Instagram, that his brick was literally, it didn't work. It like
Yes.
plugged in. He would have needed a replacement brick. So
True.
they have a way to just send bricks out for if
Yeah.
they're faulty.
True,
So
but
this-
like that's
he-
for a replacement, not a hey, there's nothing in the set, send me one. I don't think Lego would just send it as opposed to a replacement.
It is
No.
marketed because they could say you just didn't read the box.
It is, but if this is not a VIP member, if this is just a normie, if this is just like you said, like a grandparent or something that didn't know and they didn't oops. Look, if nothing else, Lego's customer service is awesome.
They
Yeah.
are.
And I
They're very
wouldn't
awesome.
I
Fantastic.
wouldn't put it completely as a no to where they wouldn't. But I think that it would be specific circumstances because I would hope they would want to write this for people that don't know the ins and outs of all of it.
Yeah.
Just to maybe keep them as
True.
a repeat customer now.
Because most of those grandparents are probably buying their grandkids
like
one of their
Amazon or
first-
Target,
one of their
right?
first
Hon-
Lego sets
hon-
for their grandkids.
Honestly, even reading the reviews, I'm not even seeing the grandparent reviews.
It's all parents.
There are not a lot of reviews,
No.
and none of them, and very few of them are positive. Like even for like Yoda's Hut, smart brick compatible on Amazon, a worldwide site, there's
Mhm.
only 13 reviews,
Yeah.
and maybe one of them is positive.
What's the score for that? What's the average review score for it? If you
The
haven't pulled up.
Hut,
For the Yoda's Hut, yeah.
3, I think, 3-star.
Okay, that's not terrible. That was the one set that people were like is actually good.
Right. And that's the good set. What would you consider the worst set of
The X-Wing.
Was it 5?
No, I wouldn't even say that. There are
X-Wing.
worse.
X-Wing of the Cantina.
So let's see. The Millennium Falcon's 4-star, Throne Room 5-star, X-Wing
How
is
many reviews,
4.5-star. Millennium Falcon only has 33, and this is Amazon. Millennium Falcon has 33, Throne Room has 23, X-Wing has 48, and that's the highest ranked one, which blows my mind.
So now that also makes me wonder if it's doing well with non-Lego fans, essentially.
It
just
could be.
because they don't know any better. Like if it's their first Lego set, they all non-Lego fans hear is how popular Lego has been lately. So to them, it could be like, oh, this is a new thing. This is cool. Or maybe it's something that's been around. Like they don't know. But as for regular standard Lego fans, they're not a fan of this. And from a business perspective to Lego, it might not matter to them if the regular, like us Lego fans, like it or not. If it brings in new fans, they could care less what
That's
we
true.
care about.
But I mean, just for comparison here, Project Hail Mary is a 5-star set with triple the amount of reviews that some of these Star Wars sets have.
Yeah.
The Hail Mary set.
It came out later.
Yes. The
There's more
Sauron
reviews.
helmet is 4.5 stars with 74 reviews. I mean, again, we're judging all of this just based on what we can read and the information we have available to us.
One of the other things I want to make abundantly clear, because we've been told by people in the past, like, you're crapping on the smart play sets, they're not for adults. Yes, correct. They're not for adults.
Right.
However, we as Lego fans can look at them as they are and go, yes, this is marketed for kids. Do we think this is a good toy for kids?
This is
And
this is not a value buy.
This is not for us. This is not for us.
No, it's not for us. But at the same time, I mean, Scott, you're a parent.
I'm not buying this for my kid.
I know that. But what I'm saying is there's other alternatives that you buy for your kids as opposed to an expensive smart play set. You could buy other Lego sets for them.
Oh no!
As a parent,
what I
would
mean
this be
is-
the first set you
no?
buy for them?
This pricing totally puts me off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
you like in the economic climate that we are, what parent is gonna be like, yay, let me go spend a gajillion unnecessary dollars on this thing that you're going to play with for 20 minutes.
Yeah, there
They're
are other
aiming
better
for
priced
a
sets.
specific group of people.
Yes,
But-
correct.
But yes, they are. But here's the thing. For me, with Lego, they've gotten popular just by being a building block set. They don't need to add all these bells and whistles, honestly. They don't need them.
But if they
Plus,
but
a
here's
kid's
the thing, though.
imagination has them.
Here's the thing though. If they did this and these were and if it was done differently and these were baller, I'd be like, I'm in. This is sick. I love they pulled this off.
Mhm.
If it was better priced and it was an actual value for the money you were spending,
Exactly.
if my kid wanted it, I would strongly consider it. If it was economically priced. This, I'm sorry to say it, this is priced for whales who have money that they can easily throw around, and that's not the
I'm not even saying that.
culture.
I'm saying more along the lines of like, if the sets design wise didn't look as terrible as they do, and the functions like the sounds and all that were better, and the functionality worked better in terms of like aiming, and I'd be like, these are sick, awesome.
If they actually,
that's all we got.
Now, going back to Cam's, their imagination,
Mhm.
part of why Lego might be trying to put all kinds of bells and whistles in it is because what kid do you know actually doesn't sit around 80% of the time staring at a screen,
True.
losing their imagination? I mean, we went for a walk yesterday around the block, and this kid must have been like 8 or 9, like came out of their house and on a scooter, and we were both like, children come outside. You don't see that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Children come outside now.
To your point,
The wild.
that makes a lot of sense, honestly. And I think Lego is trying to tap into that market because I feel like in one sense, Lego's like, if you can't beat them, join them. But at the same time, how many people, like not even kids, because like I feel like one way to get to kids is through their parents. And especially now with how long Lego's been around. JJ, when you and I become parents, what is the chance that we're going to introduce our kids to Lego to make sure they play with Lego?
Instantaneously.
Exactly. So I feel like if you're turning off the adult fans, you're going to turn off the kid fans eventually. And the full, like, a good chunk of the people that we talked about Lego, they like Lego because it's an escape from technology. They don't have to be on their phone. They don't have to be on their tablet because it still has the instructions. Like I flash back to when we saw that survey about how would you feel about not having instruction booklets anymore, and that survey disappeared within days because of how many negative reviews came in about getting rid of them. And so I feel like Legos might be losing focus on what they are, and that's a strong building block toy of the building block market. Let's be honest, we've had episodes on this before. The competition, Legos up here, the next closest is maybe here.
I don't think technology in Lego sets is bad.
It's not, but if it's done right, it feels like they have attempted at the Smart Play, and then they have attempted at the design of the Smart Play sets.
Well, let me finish my point. The sound brick is great, and the way they're able to integrate the sound brick into sets, fantastic. Light bricks always great. The Mindstorm systems, when those were still a thing, because let's also not forget they pulled the plug on First Lego League this year. They're done with that partnership. Right. That's over. So that also made people a little bit mad. But like, I sit there and I'm kind of just like, I don't think Lego trying to innovate and put technology like electronic sounds that like when you interact with the sets, it could do something like that. I don't think that's a bad thing in the slightest. I think it's actually a good idea because it makes their products even cooler, in my opinion. Like they're already great as they are. And if you can give them these integrated features that can make them even more fun, because I think also one of the other things that I think the main core issue of this was how many little kids do we all know that like fan members or just neighbors or even kids in their own families, whatever, like you buy them a Lego set or you go over to like someone's house and they have their bin full of Lego and like half their sets are just totally in shambles because they destroyed them because they got bored with them, they broke, whatever. I think Lego's focus was let's make these cooler with like sounds and playability so that little kids aren't going to want to take them apart and break them on purpose. It's like, hey, let me leave this together so I can play with it more get more out of it and want more stuff like this. Like that's also a very good way to look at it.
It is.
The other
I
part,
think-
the thing that bugs me, sorry, Cam.
No, you're
is
fine. You're fine.
The whole trigger for these things are tiny little tiles. And you've seen it once, you've seen it 100 times. What's the first thing that always gets lost?
Small
These
pieces.
tiny little
Tiny
tiles. So
like-
you're just shooting yourself in the foot again. I mean,
Mhm.
I want there to be. I think it would be a cool idea to add more technology to it, but quite use like Light My Bricks as an example. Use the carbon fiber wire and the LED lights.
How about
Right.
just buy
Add
them
some
out
lighting
and
to
then
it.
incorporate
Just-
lights into sets?
We don't have to go for the super techno
Mhm.
technology that is actually several years old and doesn't meet like 99% of your needs in the first place. But we're going to call that the next big thing.
To add on to your point, though, like with Light My Bricks, that's a great alternative to add lights to the set. With the smart bricks, I feel like the sounds that they make are underwhelming. The lights that they do are underwhelming. Like I can think of toys from when I was a kid that had better sounds, that like had Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father," whereas the sounds that we're getting out of these, like we're not even getting words, we're getting Charlie Brown's parents.
Yeah.
This
And I
may
feel
be
like they
what
could have done that better.
the negative reaction to this may be what they need to see to retool this, though. You know what I mean? To make tweaks to later sets to improve it and make, you know what I mean?
I
Like
hope
again,
so.
this is feedback they're getting right now. This is
Right,
a lot
but-
of feedback.
What was that date that was on some of the bricks? Like, how long have they been working on this
Oh,
technology?
2022.
So it's already outdated.
Mhm.
So they're working on something for 4 years and they didn't update it enough before they released it. When technology literally outdates itself in 6 months.
Yes.
So
Look,
That's a dangerous game by working with technology and Lego. together.
yeah.
Let's talk about some more of the reviews, though. Let's get back on track because I feel we derailed a little bit and got more into how much we don't like certain things.
Yeah, that's
But
what this episode's about.
I think the big thing for me, review wise,
Mhm.
the LAN has been oddly quiet. They have not said anything.
I don't think anybody wants to stick their neck out.
That's
No.
the thing. I think after the Death Star, when they got ripped for that, with you guys said $1,000 set, the set actually is terrible.
Mhm.
Say it's bad or we hate you.
Right.
I think they were all like, good, hard pass.
I'm out.
Now we do have we know people from like Maticus Bricks. Love Maticus. We've met him multiple times. He's a great guy. He did cover the smart play sets. And he was like, you know what? For what they are, they're fun. Good. He can say that. That's perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. Everyone's
No
telling their
trash to
opinion.
that. But the comments on his, on his YouTube short and his Instagram reel, he got ripped.
Yeah.
Unfairly.
Ripped. Now, the way he responded was like, thanks for your feedback. I appreciate it. I'm like, absolute W comment right there. Like,
Exactly.
just kill him with kindness. Love him. That was a perfect way to respond there.
That's how he would, honestly. I expect nothing less from him.
But I think there were some people from the land that were absolutely terrified of being like, I'll take these and I'll review them
Mhm.
and have people say, you're just shilling. And they have been quiet. A lot of them got sent smart play stuff. Like Cool Guy Dom got sent smart play kit. He opened it up. He built a bunch of them. He reviewed them. He said he didn't like them.
Right.
Yeah,
And then you got the non-land people who gave brutally honest reviews. Like, I forget his name, who it was, but they bought it with
Solid
their
Bricks
kids
review these?
in mind. And they were disappointed because, like, for one, the kid lost interest within 20 minutes. And then another one, Smart Brick stopped working within 24 hours. It wouldn't charge. It wouldn't do anything. So a lot of the non-land reviews that I'm seeing are not overly brutal because they're frustrated because they paid for it, but they're at least able to be honest with what frustrations that they've had. And
I love
that
Shy's
is
review, by the way.
I didn't even see Shy's, but with the land ones, it makes sense why they are scared because of what happened with the Death Star. And I feel like, especially with both being Star Wars, you have the toxic Lego Star Wars fans ready to pounce. So it's really tough. Land people are in a tough position to begin with right now. Adding the smart play just makes it that much harder for them.
So also I want to point out that Solid Brick Studios, who is probably the #1 Lego Star Wars guy on YouTube outside of M&R, if they're probably like neck and neck at this point. Solid Brick Studios covered the reveal of them and covered his impressions. Didn't review any of the sets. And he just did it. He made one video called "Did This Just Save Lego Star Wars Smart Play?" And it's him talking about the rebrickable mod that turns the Millennium Falcon into the Fondor. That's all he's done.
And since then, we now have two alternative builds for the Millennium Falcon Smart Play. You have the Fondor Hallcraft, and you have a really nice Venator.
I'm going to also say Cody Bricks is the guy's name. He makes some phenomenal alt builds.
Yes.
Phenomenal alt builds. He was able to incorporate the Smart Brick into the Fondor alt build to where it actually functions and works. And this build looks great and the features work well. And I go, see, this works. This system that they've developed can work. You just have to tweak a couple things design-wise, and I think then people will be like, okay.
The question is, though, will Lego put in more effort to do that, or will they want to cut their loss? Because, like we talked about, they've invested so much time and money into this, they don't want to just give up on it. That's a guarantee. They're not going to just give up on it. But are they going to try and revamp it, or just let it play out so it dies? We don't know.
Let's also look at two other. So M&R obviously covered these. I watched all of his reviews. I will say, I love watching his stuff. I know people don't like him. I don't care. I like watching his videos. They're fun. I love how passionate he gets. It's just a sign he's a super fan. That's just what he is.
Right.
He reviewed a lot of all the sets. I watched pretty much all his reviews. He was positive about the Yoda one. He's like, this actually is fun. The feature on it is really interesting. He was like, the hut build looks great. And the fact that you have the crates that can float around is cool.
It's a cool idea.
It's a cool idea. And he didn't hate it. The other ones he ripped, but that one he didn't. The review to me, and I think, Scott, you're going to agree with me here when we say this. The review to me, the channel that reviewed the sets that I think had the biggest impact on anything was Jang.
Oh, yeah.
Jang tore this in half, like in a matter of seconds.
Just remember that there's two sides of that brutality.
Mm-hmm.
There's what he put on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then there was the raw live feed
on Twitch,
where he was completely unedited. You know, he did not hold back at all.
No.
And, you know, what you saw on YouTube was the edited, cut down version where I think he pulled back a few of the punches, because I sat there and watched him for a good 3 hours, and I've never seen him that
angry.
I wouldn't even say angry. It was just sheer disappointment. He's like, oh, great. It made a noise. Great.
His X-Wing review, he opened it with, I wish I could say I'm being fair and unbiased, but I can't be because these are terrible. Like he was like, this is bad. And I'm like, the fact that he opened the video with that is insane. Like his perception of these going in, he was unable to set it aside.
It's hard to.
And it affected, but it's Jang. He's always able to do that no matter what the set is. Even if he thinks the set looks horrid, he'll still get it and build it and give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with this, it was like, there's nothing. There's nothing. The logic of like, well, you can't, it has to be exposed because they don't work in the dark. And then he killed the lights in his studio and he covered it up and it was still working perfectly fine. And he's like, this will still, like, the logic points that people were giving for why these weren't working, like hole punch, hole punch, hole punch, hole punch. Nope. None of it. M&R also claim that from what he's heard from people, was that certain land people got the sets, were unsure about how, they were wanting to talk about them, and they were given like basically bullet points to basically like, if you're not sure, cover this, and if you want to be critical, kind of phase it in this way, which I don't think was Lego being like, say good things. I think it was them trying to provide them with, if you need to be critical because you feel the need to be critical, this is the way you can do it without being without violating any here's how to be constructively critical.
They shouldn't be coaching anybody on how to be
That defeats
anything.
the whole purpose of land.
Yes, but I'm not trying to defend them. Again, if this is real, I don't really know if it's the case or not. Who knows? But I think it's more along the lines of hey, I don't like this. I want to say I don't like this. Is there a good way for me to do that without making you guys mad? Yes, here. If you structure it this way or things like that, it'll be okay. Because PR, PR or publicist wise, preparing a statement hey, I don't like this. How do I respond here? That could be a way that they're doing things. Again, if that's the case. But
we don't know for sure.
We don't. And the fact that Jang is no. The fact that he said no before even going over the set is insanity.
And for people who want to dump and say, "Oh, it's just Jang, he's just going for clicks." No, it's not, because he's praised a bunch of stuff lately. He praised the Speed Champion Bugatti. He praised the Douglas DC3. He's been praising sets. Yes. He didn't like anything about this because, and he puts it out there. If something would go wrong, he would just go like this, and he would say how much he paid for it.
Exactly.
That was it. He would just go $70, and he would demonstrate how it worked. He would demonstrate everything, and then he'd show you all the little problems with it, and he'd go $70. Is it worth $70?
What it boils down to is, I feel like you're not getting what you're paying for if you get this, and that's why it's not coming off the shelves. People can't cost justify buying these sets, and that's why they're sitting on the shelves. That's why they've been selling so poorly. People can't look at it and say, this is worth $70.
I want to know what market research they had that made them think this was a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
let them to go in this direction.
That they went this hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll just have to wait to see how the city sets do, and then how Pokemon does, and what happens after that to see how it changes.
I gotta wonder if this lug wrenches everything. I really do. Because have you noticed that there's hardly any whispers at all about the second half of this year?
Yeah,
there's nothing.
Not much. I've seen some stuff.
Unless this is the only wave we're getting.
At the release of this episode, we're in April, so we're at the start of the quote unquote second quarter of the year. So that's still pretty early on. But then again, it's hard to know for sure. It's going to take time to see what happens. But as the start of Smart Play to now, it's apparent that it's not doing what I think Lego was hoping for, and it's doing about what we expected. In some cases, better. In some cases, worse.
I want to bring up another thing here, because this is something that people said was, why did you start with Star Wars and not with City? And I think there was two big reasons. One, Star Wars is a massive brand. It's internationally known. Eyes are going to be on it.
Yeah.
100%. That's the primary reason. Two, yes, they beta tested this through City in Europe. And those sets, the smart bricks and those sets were blue, which was interesting. However, and this was a point that, oh my God, I'm forgetting who brought this up with me. Oh, I'm forgetting who it was, and I'm kicking myself now. But somebody brought up the point of, let's look at it from this perspective. A lot of the City sets are astronomically less expensive than Star Wars sets, standard Star Wars sets.
Yes. Yeah.
If you took a $15 or $20 police car and slapped a smart brick in it, and now it's all of a sudden $40 or $50 for that police car.
Yeah, you're right.
That's definitely not going to sell.
It's not going to sell.
It's only but I also think if you put it in, if you were to remake one of the police mobile command unit trucks and put one of those in there, it can work. If you put one of these in a bigger set, like a bulldozer or a bigger fire truck or a police department, because to me, you can hide these better in the City sets as it's a toolbox or it's a utility something on the back of a truck or something, and it'll stand out. You'll be able to hide it better, and it'll work better.
You can't cover the smart brick.
No,
that's not true, because people have done mods where they cover the smart bricks and they still work.
But they don't turn themselves off either in certain circumstances.
For the City sets, You put a smart brick in a bulldozer, like you said. What are you interacting with? Because part of the draw is that it's going to interact and fight with this other ship.
So
Right.
I thought about that.
What are you doing? Because honestly, if you're going to do something in a city set, just give me a sound brick. They sound better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And call it a day. Like I can push the button and hear woo woo. I don't.
I'll put it
Just
with
give
you
me
this
a
way.
give me a light brick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll put it with you this way. Imagine like with a bulldozer, like you have to have like they have to have the color coded things to be able to like make something work or whatever.
Mhm.
Like if you did something to where you put a smart brick in a bulldozer, and you have like the boom arms that connect to like the shovel on the front, and there's color coded parts along that. So when you move up and down, like when you move the dozer up and down or whatever, it reacts and makes sounds to things. That's cool.
Yeah.
That could work. Like there's
that
ways this could work in city well, but you just can't put them in the smaller sets because then they're definitely not going to sell.
I feel like at that point though, you're almost overcomplicating because like with city, to me, it's always
Probably.
been less is more because you get more bang for your buck with city sets. And I feel like if you overcomplicate city, you start to lose focus of what city is. People will lose interest in it. By adding in the smart plane, doing what you say with the bulldozer, I feel like you're overcomplicating a simple bulldozer to the point where someone's not going to want to buy it. They'll just get a regular bulldozer as opposed to a smart plane.
How about building like a construction site set, and you can put the bulldozer in certain. Sorry, you can put like the smart brick in certain parts of the building or a structure, and they have the little green hammers that react. Having your construction worker fix something or build something, that's cool. That could work.
But you have to be
You're grasping.
near the tile.
You're
That's
grasping
fine.
at this point, I feel like.
It would still work.
And
I
then
don't know.
it would have to be a small enough set that it would be able to be said to be geared towards kids. Because if you really think about
It'll
it,
work.
you got kids that are going to have like the smaller city sets. But the majority of the city people, I'm not going to build a construction site and sit around and fadoodle with a bulldozer and
Exactly.
a hammer.
I feel like,
But it's for kids though. It's not for you at that point.
but then you're going to face
minutes.
you're going to
Then
face
I'd
the
be
same
bored.
problem as it is with Star Wars, is cost justifying it. Like you said, if you have a $15 cop car and you raise the price to $40, $50, who's going to want to buy a $50 cop car? You can get a $15 cop car, and then you make the sounds to
Without
yourself.
anything on it, yeah. One of the other things that 100% I thought about with this a little bit here was like all of the people I've seen take the smart bricks and like I saw Built Bricks on Instagram. Love him to death. He makes like the cool Mandalorian Lego cosplays and all that.
Yeah.
He took one of the Bricker Builds lightsabers and he took off one of like the greebly parts on the side and he attached this to it with the tile stuck to it. So this big lightsaber, you can wave it around. It's making the vroom, vroom, vroom. That was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was
I think
great.
it can
The
work.
mock
It can
builders
definitely
have shown that this can work.
It
if
can
you
work.
do it
Yes.
a certain way.
You got to
But-
pick
In
your
adult
spots.
fashion, though.
Lego,
Pick
I
your
feel like
spots.
Lego is a big enough company that they won't want to. It's going to sound horrible. They're not going to want to admit that they were wrong and do what other people have figured out. They're not going to want to release a lightsaber set because a mock builder did it first. They're
Well,
not going
one,
to.
I
Essentially,
don't
to
think
them,
they
that would
Hasbro Black Series, but
well, no. But then what I'm saying is like all the good stuff that we said that Smart Play can be. Lego won't do it themselves because, in a sense, they're admitting defeat by doing someone else's design. They got it wrong, and
If
they
they
couldn't
wanna-
figure out a solution. Someone else
no,
found.
they're
the
learning
solution
from their
for them.
mistakes.
If they want to
They're not
save
learning from their
if they want to
mistakes. Other
if they
people are
want to
learning.
if they want to save their line, they're going to have to adapt.
Yeah.
Adapt or die.
They won't-
Adapt or die. Yeah, adapt or die.
and
It's
I
adapt or
think
die.
they will.
You're not folding, you're making it better so people will like, oh, this guy did a mock build. Now Lego's doing something. Oh, I'll give it a shot because that looks really cool. So let me try this
How
now.
often do you see Lego
He's-
copy a mock builders practices?
All the
Ideas, you see it all the time.
Well,
and
ideas they
ideas.
take and make it their own.
Maybe
But
that's kind of what they need to do.
That's more design than concepts and techniques.
I think everybody praying for this to fail and bomb. It's not going to happen. They put too much money into it. And I think the Pokemon ones that are going to come out, I think those will sell well because it's Pokemon. However, the Pokemon fans are very passionate. Very, very passionate. And I think the response to those is going to be the same response Star Wars fans are giving to this now, where they're going to run it to the mud and they're not going to care.
if the addition of a smart brick into a Pokemon set causes the price to rise more than it already has, they'll kill themselves right on the onset.
Exactly, and I think that's what is likely to happen because
Let's
just how it's been going.
let's not lie. The economy sucks right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything's tight.
If they
You're
keep
really going to
putting-
expect me to pay an extra $30 for a smart brick that we know is going to be
Yeah.
disappointing in the first place, on top of an already paying an IP cost? No, we're not going to do that.
if they keep putting it into too many themes, they're just going to price more and more people out of the hobby. They're not
Exactly.
going to be bringing people in. They're going to price everybody out.
I don't
hope
think
they
they'll
don't
price
touch
them
Marvel.
out of the hobby. They'll price them out of those specific sets that I think those people will already not want to buy in the first place. They'll just stick with what they've been getting and they'll be fine. My thing is going to be, here's my big question right now. We know we're getting Mario minifigures next year. How much you want to bet the Mario minifig sets for Smart Play?
They're going to kill Mario further than they've already been killing it.
No, people
And
will
not
buy
in a good
just
way.
get the Mario figures.
They'll buy the figures.
100%.
Not
What
if
will
they got
happen-
that ugly tattoo on the side.
Not if they
No.
cost an extra $20-$30 a set.
I mean, again, Nintendo. All of the Nintendo themes except for Zelda have had some sort of technological something in this. Like all the Mario sets begin from up through this point have had the game, and now Pokemon's getting Smart Play. You cannot tell me that the Mario minifig sets are not going to have a Smart Play feature in some capacity. They probably will.
Yeah, but you know the sad part? You said it, all the other sets that are Nintendo based have had some kind of tech feature except for the Zelda. The Zeldas are the best selling ones.
Correct. They're fantastic.
And
Are they a little
listen to
expensive?
that? I
Yes,
don't know.
but like, are they a little expensive? Yeah. Are they sick? Absolutely. They're some of the best sets Lego's put out the last 10 years, to be honest with you.
I feel like what we've been saying this entire time, there are some things it's doing lower than what Lego was hoping for, about what we expected. But then again, we're only a month in. So like only time will tell what will happen with Smart Play. We have a whole other theme coming with Pokemon with Smart Play, cities coming. We're only a month in. So like it's hard to really know what's going to happen until we get a year out from now.
Yeah, but the excitement of that first month,
Oh yeah,
you would think would like
They
give
need
you give you that urge, like, oh my god, this is actually really kind of cool. Now, if they just figured out how to make smart bricks for the city theme, or for the Pokemon theme, or for the Star Wars theme, and buy them separate if you so choose, and then the sets just come with the fiddly tile or whatever to use or not to use.
Checking something real quick.
Why not? Why? Just give the people options.
Here's an interesting thing. I'm going to pull this up and double check my logic here, but I want to look at Lego's Instagram, because I kind of noticed something a few weeks back about their whole thing. So right now, pinned on their Instagram, there's the top 3 posts on their Instagram. It's all Smart Play. Most of the sets and everything on there is Smart Play. However, there's one big thing coming in May later this year that they have slowly but surely started pushing a little bit on another account. Legacy of the Dark Knight is coming out in May.
Right.
That game, they're going to have to start pushing that at some point soon here, because that's obviously a Lego game, so they're going to want to get some attention for it. I wouldn't be
a month away.
I know. Well, at May 19th.
For early access.
A little over a month for early access, yeah. The Lego Batman game account is pushing it hard, and Lego has been putting all of the posts they've been releasing on like Instagram stories and whatnot. But they're not reposting any Smart Play anything. They're reposting all this stuff based on this video game coming out. So part of me is like, are they going to just, getting closer to this game, bury all of that and start pushing Lego Batman hard?
I don't think it's necessarily
let it just kind of drift and see what happens.
They posted Star Wars, then they'll promote Batman because it's a new game, and then when Pokemon comes back around with the Smart Play, that's when they'll kind of revamp it.
100%, 100%.
They'll hope for that initial reaction like they were hoping for with Star Wars that we all, like Gina brought up.
Yeah, it's great.
You don't have that initial jolt, but I don't know. Like I said, it's all in time. We're only a month in, so like it's hard to say.
I think the big takeaway for everybody who's like, these are gonna last the year. Like, yes, they will. There has been too much put into this. They're not. This is not going to be a video situation where this gets the plug pulled seconds after it comes out because of poor sales.
It didn't get the plug pulled seconds. It was a solid 6 to 12 months later.
It was like 6 months in that they canned it. That's all. 6 months in that they delayed the release of the second half, the second wave in the U.S., and then a few months after that to where it was they are not coming out in the U.S. and we are done with this.
I mean, it's very safe to say that momentum has definitely stalled.
Yes.
What they do they double down? Do they just say, hey, look, we obviously missed. We need to rethink this? I mean, how far down the debt hole are you on this project?
Probably not that far, to be honest with you.
10 years of research.
$13 billion in profit last year. I don't think this is going to hurt them if it doesn't go well. Billion.
Even still, that's 10 years of research that they were doing, and that's just the research alone for it, and the constructing it, and the technology behind it, all the employees they paid. A lot went into this, and they're not going to just want to write it off. I mean, they do have the opportunity to take risks because of that profit. But they don't want to do that.
Even if this costed, let's say, $500 million to make, to develop and whatever, it's not going to matter because they made $13 billion in profit last year. So it's going to be like, okay, didn't work. So let's try again.
The thing that will always make this a no for me, no matter what they do. Remember what I said. What was my biggest fear about these things?
Them listening to you and learning and storing data.
And what did we find out after the tech heads dissected the brick?
That is what they are doing.
It has a microphone.
Technology.
It has a microphone.
Yep.
Built in that they never said a word about. And this is only debuting in countries with lax surveillance laws. It's got a mic. And Lego's like, oh, we didn't tell you about that. Well, we're not using it right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a BMW situation where there's like, it's a feature that they're going to activate in this down the line. That it's there. It just isn't active yet. I could see that being a thing.
I'll tell you exactly what this is like. This is like Pokemon Go. What was recently announced where everyone was doing the AR Pokemon, taking pictures everywhere with the Pokemon within Pokemon Go since 2016, and they're able to map out everything. They've been able to track everything while they were playing Pokemon Go. That's what Smart Brick could potentially be. Now, granted, no one's going to take their smart play sets and travel the country with them, but listening, as Scott mentioned, was not really publicized, but it's there. Yeah, and that's another issue that I'm hoping can get brought to light soon.
Automatic no now. They confirmed my worst fear was that it was being used for surveillance. It could potentially be used and manipulated for surveillance. It's an automatic no. Like there were full articles about that. Like, you know, Lego, like I believe one of the ones I said was literally called Lego is listening.
Yeah. I saw. Yeah, you sent that one on the Discord. Yeah, I mean, I guess it realistically is just we wait and see. We wait and see what happens the rest of the year. We see how the Pokemon sets, when they're revealed, how they're kind of reacted to, what people think of them. Do they do better? I think right now with them, it's going to be, well, the Pokemon ones are going to sell well because the scalpers are going to go crazy because they're probably going to slap some gift with purchase with it. Where if you buy enough of them, you'll get some gift with purchase and the scalpers will go out and buy it like crazy. And that will artificially inflate. Well, this Pokemon so and so. So it might be something where Star Wars doesn't get any more, but Pokemon keeps on going because those ones sell well. Because the Pokemon scalpers are going to go and buy anything they can because it might make a profit at some point.
Well, then just keep it in the theme that it does really well in.
That's what I'm saying.
The other one, leave the other ones be.
Because we don't know how well it's going to do for Pokemon yet. And I am very curious to see because from the one leak we got, it looks like it's a brick-built figure with the smart brick like inserted in the back. That could be interesting. I'm interested to see, again, if it integrates better into that than it does with Star Wars, I will be like, okay, Star Wars didn't work. If this does work, I will sing its praises. I'll tell you that right now.
Again, like I've been saying, it's just going to take time. We're only a month in.
Yeah. I want to see the Pokemon sets. I'm incredibly interested in what the Pokemon ones are going to be like. Because doing it like a battle feature where they can fight each other in like an arena would be sick.
At this point, though, after I didn't even fully know about the microphone, I don't want it. I don't want Smart Play around at all.
I mean,
that's an issue to begin with. It's an invasion of privacy.
But your phone
I feel like if that's brought,
your laptop does, your like everything does around you now.
Yeah, I don't want to listening to my kids.
Yes,
that's where it gets scary. And with Scott pointing out that it's only in the lax countries with the listening, with the surveillance. I don't know.
It's shady.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea that my Lego is freaking shady and might be listening to my kids.
Yeah, I don't think they were designed with that, like with malicious.
I don't think they were either, but I don't like the
It's the fact that they could realistically be used for that if they were manipulated for that sense. Yes, that's a problem.
And that Lego didn't come out and just say it when they were debuting these things, that these things had mics. It was brought. They didn't come out and say something.
If they were voice command, that would be kind of cool, though.
I don't know. What can you voice command it to do? Squawk?
I mean, like X-Wing takeoff or like X-Wing battle mode. That'd be kind of cool.
What's that gonna?
Oh my god!
The X-Wing sound.
All I'm thinking of is Punisher from the '90s Spider-Man cartoon, like Battle Van. Activate Plan 64, and it's got a rocket that comes out on top of it. Like I'm just thinking of that. Like if I legitimately speaking, if there was a Punisher Battle Van set that had a smart brick in it, you could say Battle Van activate whatever, and it like was motorized to shoot something off. I'd buy that in seconds.
You would just sit around and play with that.
It wouldn't be a Lego set anymore at that point.
I don't care. It'd be really cool.
No, defeats the purpose of Lego.
Put the Punisher on anything and he'll jump.
Punisher is in my top 5. You put Punisher on anything and I'll buy it. Like I really don't care. But yeah, I think that's a good spot for us to wrap up here with this discussion. But yeah, we're 30 days in. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do going forward. I'm optimistic that the Pokemon ones may actually be good. I'm optimistic. I want to see them take this and actually do something good with it.
See, you know what might work is the fact that none of the Pokemon speak English or speak a language that you can understand. They make weird noises. So it might work better there, because if you're listening to whatever noises are coming out of that thing when they're near the Star Wars figures, Cam's totally right. It sounds like the freaking teacher from Charlie Brown.
I do like the fact that like when you put Darth Vader in the TIE Fighter, it does the Imperial March. Like that's kind of like there's cool things with this.
It does some cool things.
It just seems
it's not all bad. There's cool stuff about it. Again, will I buy them? No, but like I can also sit here and be like, yeah, there's a very select few things these do that are interesting and that are cool. And I think the system can be tweaked to be way better than it currently is right now. Will they do it? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But again, I'm going to say it one last time. The people who think this is going to go the way of video, where it's going to go 6 months and they're going to go, nope, done. Not happening this time. They are infinitely larger than they were as a global entity now than they were back then. It's not going to happen.
They're very invested. Yes.
Yes. But does anybody have any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
Hey, guys. Is Coolant brown?
Oh, my God. That thing is so funny.
I built this over the weekend and I'm, what is this? Someone in the comments tell me what this is.
It's a tail.
It's his tail.
Sure it is.
It's his tail.
It's Rocket's rocket booster. Don't ask how it's powered.
It's Rocket's rocket booster.
We're ending on a happy note here, folks.
It was a really strong poo.
So,
I'll be right there, Star-Lord.
Anyways, wrapping this up now. Thank you for watching. If you've not already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified when all brand new episodes go live. This is our second special feature this week. Last week we did our episode about the best Batman minifigure of all time, and then we were joined 2 days ago by our good friend Daniel Lewa, who we broke down what the best Batmobile of all time was. A lot of you had some strong thoughts on that.
I missed you, Daniel.
I know we missed you. Missed he missed you.
Hey, animated the Tumblr wouldn't have made it. I'm telling you,
Oh,
right.
jeez.
Tumblr wouldn't have made it.
On top of that, though, when we look at, excuse me, what else we have in store? We have another episode coming out Friday, our usual episode for the week.
Yeah.
We also have the Discord, which is a really fun way for you to interact with other members of the Brick Hour community. And you can also become a channel member, like these three fine people. We have J Rizzy Shorts, D Glaze 2265, and Ben Northway 3386. Please, thank you all for being amazing channel members and supporting the channel. You guys are great. We love you to death. Help keep the lights on and making us do fun stuff. We will be doing another live stream build at some point in the next few weeks, so that will be very fun. But yeah, we will see everybody in the next episode. You can find us on Instagram at the Brick Hour Pod. You can find me on Instagram at Langster Builds.
You can find me at Cameron Studios _.
You can find me at My Bricks and Me.
You can find me at Rogue Lannister.
We will see everybody in the next episode. Have a great night. Happy building.